Welcome to FootballGamePlan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 13 preview between the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Broncos. This week versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the Denver Broncos will have to go aggressive versus the ISO run, which means your fullback is isolated on a linebacker. And I think if they attack the A-gap with the same aggressiveness that you would when you're playing a goal line defense, I think they can have some success. And you're going to see how we're just going to draw up where the ISO is. The ISO action is coming right here down the middle of the field. So you're going to ask your defensive tackles to try to open up that hole for the center and the guard to where you can really get aggressive versus this ISO play. So you're sending your strong side backer in the A-gap, your Mike backer going in the strong side, play side A-gap, and you're sending your weak side backer down the A-gap as well. So you have three backers attacking the interior offensive line or the interior gaps. And when those outside backers leave, you're just vacating their responsibilities with your safeties. So that way you're still well protected versus the cutback this way or the bounce to the outside. So again, if they can go aggressive versus this Kansas City Chiefs ISO play, I believe they can have some success once again in slowing down the running game of Kansas City. Last week versus the San Diego Chargers, the Kansas City Chiefs had problems defending the bunch formation. So I'm pretty sure the Broncos will come in and will show a lot of bunch looks. I'm going to show you how Kansas City can better defend the bunch formation this time around and have some success. Let me step out of the way so I can use my trusty laser pointer here and show you how they can defend the bunch. See, this linebacker and this nickelback, they're your aggressive defenders. They have to get physical with these two guys. Now, the nickelback's job is to make sure he gets a great bump right here. He has to slow down the timing, and he's also the flat defender. He's responsible for what's coming out here in the flat. So he's going to get busy with this guy right here. Then his job is whoever threatens his flat responsibility outside. Now this inside backer's job is to take whomever's crossing his face. So he's just sitting and waiting. Aggressive right here and waiting for the guy to cross his face, and he's still within that 5-yard bump zone. So whomever's crossing his face, he can get physical and get that bump going right there. So that way this guy doesn't have free reign to cross the field. So he has to get aggressive, as does the nickel guy that's standing at the top of the bunch. Now on the outside, you have a corner and you also have the safety up top. Both of these guys are sitting there in your wait defense type of mode. They're waiting to see which guy clears because they're going to try to run a lot of misdirection down here. And whomever clears, that's who they're going to get. They're going to wait. So don't get aggressive. Don't get physical. Wait, and the guy that you're supposed to cover will come to you. And that's the biggest thing. That's what has to happen. And he's going to get whomever is going to push vertical up the field and break in or out. That's his responsibility. His job is also to flat. So he's going to wait there. And whomever crosses his face, and also he's going to have he has an outside threat. So if this guy or this one comes outside, that's his responsibility. If they push vertical, it's the safety's job. And it's all about communicating. They have to threaten the help. He has whoever's threatening the flat along with the nickelback. So they're both protecting the flat, but he's also whoever has the outside threat. He has the vertical threat. He has the crosser. He has the flat as well. So both guys, in my opinion, these are your physical defenders. Like I'm saying again, physical defenders, wait and see defenders. They're going to pass guys off essentially and to the safety and to the corner. But what happens is a lot of the time these four guys don't communicate, and that's where the problems lie. And we saw this last week versus San Diego, where Keenan Allen had a big play in the early parts of the game, a big 29-yard game, because these guys couldn't communicate, and the cornerback got lost in the wash trying to follow a guy over the field, across the field, and you can't do that. Wait and see. Force the guy that's going vertical to go vertical. The guy that's going over the middle, you try to pass him off to the next guy that's on the opposite side of the field. But you cannot follow guys because you're going to get caught in the trash. You're going to get caught up in the rubs or picks that the bunch is designed to do. So if they can communicate better in the secondary, they have a great chance of knocking off the Denver Broncos.
I like the Broncos in this ballgame. I still can't trust the Chiefs' offense to attack the field vertically. And I think what we saw last week from Denver is a much more balanced offensive attack. And I think they'll be able to run the football versus KC, especially on the outside where Justin Houston is not playing. So I think the Broncos will win this ballgame on the road in Kansas City.
This week versus the San Francisco 49ers, the St. Louis Rams can't allow themselves to get outflanked defensively, so they have to maintain the edge versus a guy in Colin Kaepernick. And I think if they utilize their speed on the outside in an aggressive 8-man front, they can have some success and get pressure on that 49ers running game. I'm going to show you right here. We have an aggressive 8-man front. We're going to walk that safety down on the line of scrimmage over the tight end. We're going to shift the backer's weak side. And what we're going to do, we're going to crash down our stronger player. So this would be our strong side linebacker. We're going to offset him. We're going to put him down this gap right here. We're going to make sure Robert Quinn, speed guy, on the weak side, getting outside so he can chase Kaepernick either way. We're also going to try to box him in with a safety, playing outside, trying to get pressure. So now you have your speed on the outside and forcing him inside where your power guys are that can make tackles in space. So that's why we're shooting him inside. We're also crashing down Chris Long down this C gap. So that's why we're trying to get the stronger guys inside, play contain on the outside with the speed. I think if the Rams can do this, and if they trust their personnel on the back end with their corners and their free safety, and they're able to stop the run and put those speed guys on the outside, I think that's how they can have some success this week versus San Francisco and getting the 49ers off the field on third downs. I'm not a big fan of designed quarterback runs unless you're in the red zone or short yardage and goal line. I think once the 49ers get into the red zone, they have to utilize the athleticism of Colin Kaepernick, and I think they can have a big play waiting to happen if they run the quarterback trap in the red zone. I'll show you how they can get this done. You see what we have here? We're not going to drop the receivers in the corners. We're just going to focus on the box, the inside guys. We have a running back in the backfield. We also have a running back outside as well. So we're going to fake the end around, we're going to fake the zone read as well, and we're going to run the quarterback trap right down the A gap. So we're trapping this defensive tackle here. So what that means, the play side guard, he's working up to get this middle backer blocked. We're going to have the center block down. We're going to have this tackle kick out that defensive end. We're going to also have this backer work his, this tackle kick out that defensive end here. We're not going to worry about this backer or this backer because this motion is going to pull those guys away. They're going to pull away by the run action because we're faking the read option here. So he's running across, pulling those linebackers, also faking the cross buck action with this back crossing this face, thus getting this guy blocked and holding this safety at bay. And we're running Colin Kaepernick right down the middle after we pull the backside guard, kicking out this defensive tackle, running him right down the A gap. That's how they can have some success in the red zone, running the quarterback trap. Again, it's faking the read option, faking the cross buck, holding the safety, holding the backers in place, and getting those guys to flow where this guy is going outside, and then running the trap right down the A gap. I think they can have a huge play versus St. Louis if they're able to run the football effectively and then come back with the trap. I think that's how the 49ers can generate a big play in the red zone this week versus the Rams.
I like the 49ers in this ball game. This is a football team that's getting healthier each and every week, and you see that defense is still active offensively, starting to operate with much more balance. I think they'll do a great job of taking care of their division rival, the St. Louis Rams, who will be a game opponent. I must say, I have liked what I've seen so far from Kellen Clemens. The ball seems to jump off his arm, and that offense is moving the football downfield, but I don't think it'll be enough to knock off San Francisco. Now here are some in-game adjustments that you want to look out for in this ball game. For the Giants, you look at one less linebacker, one extra safety. They're patented big nickel look, and I think that's how they can compete versus the read option and the play action pass of the Washington Redskins and actually getting more speed on the field. And in the passing game, I would attack the slot and the middle of the field with guys like Victor Cruz or even the tight end Brandon Myers. I think they can have some success in those areas versus the Redskins secondary. And that interior defensive line, those two defensive tackles have to get penetration versus the outside zone. That's the best way they can defend that running play. It allows the linebackers an easy lane to shoot the gap and make a play at or behind the line of scrimmage. When you look at the Redskins, you look at the speed advantage they have at the receiver position going against that Giants secondary. So I would look for the Redskins to run a lot of crossers, in routes, dig routes, over routes, anything that gets them to run away from coverage to take advantage of the speed difference. And I would eliminate the design run plays for RG3. He is clearly not 100% to run the football, so that eliminates that threat. So you have to allow him just to be a normal quarterback, which he can do exceptionally well. Eliminate the design quarterback runs this week versus the Giants. And stunning up front defensively could lead the Redskins to success. This is a Giants offensive line that struggles to recognize stunts and also pick up the blitz. And if they can get creative in their pressure packages, they're going to put a lot of pressure on that Giants offense. It could derail what they want to do offensively, especially in the passing game. I like the Giants in this ball game. The biggest battle in this matchup you should look out for will be between that Giants defensive line and the offensive front of the Washington Redskins. I think that's the advantage the Giants will exploit. I think their defense will do a great job in slowing down the Redskins, so I'm taking the Giants to knock off Washington on the road.